What's going on, Making Money Online fam? My name is Marissa, and in today's video, we're talking about a website that could make you $225 just for reading out loud. Not only $225, but potentially thousands of dollars. Not only that, potentially passive income. What? Are you kidding me? So yes, you've absolutely heard that right. I'm talking about making dollar bills just for reading out loud. Chapter 15, the first law of gold. Gold cometh gladly in it. Oh. And an increasing quantity to any man who will put by not less than 1/10 of his earnings to create an... Oh! This works! So today we are talking about a website called acx.com and how becoming a reader or becoming a narrator of an audiobook could make you some serious passive income, some serious cash, and definitely worth your while. To prove to you that this works, I have two lovely ladies who will break down why. The first one is from one of my subscribers on my YouTube channel and a fellow YouTube creator. Her name is Deal Finding Diva. She says, "Girl, I'm so glad you mentioned ACX. I suggested it on my channel too. My very first audition got me 2 contracts with an author. I chose royalty deals. I'm currently doing a series and I've never done voiceovers before. The crazy thing is, haters were real quick to claim that it is not legit. I'm glad you reinforced what I've been trying to tell people. It's a great way to make passive income. I just hope people don't let haters deter them. Thanks so much for sharing." Girl, you are welcome, and thank you, Deal Finding Diva, for that comment, which proves that even a beginner could make money narrating an audiobook and make passive income. The second girl I wanted to shout out is one of my creator friends, Kat Theo. Now, Kat is really cool because I actually learned this from her video when she talked about ACX, because she's actually an author. So she's on the author side, and she is an author of a children's book called Layla Escapes the Zoo. And in her video, when she talks about the book, she just explains how making your book into an audio or an audible version is way better than just having it be paper, because you get way more reach from the author perspective when you do this, and it definitely increases your profit potential, because now people could listen to this audiobook when they're doing the laundry, when they're going to the gym, when they're driving across town to pick up their kids, just all types of stuff. That makes the book so much more easier, and in my case, I don't really like physically reading, more pleasurable to read or to listen to. Okay, so we're gonna dive deep into a step-by-step how you could get involved with getting your first narrator job and getting paid hundreds and potentially thousands of dollars for doing this. So one thing I wanted to mention before I get started was there are different languages available, including English, French, German, and Spanish. Also, there's thousands of different genres, so you won't have a lack of options on ACX. And essentially, it's like you do the work once and get paid for years to come because of royalty share. So we'll explain what royalty shares mean, what all this means right now in this tutorial. I welcome you to behind my computer. Let's get into it. So we're at the acx.com website. And the first thing I wanted to bring your attention to is the way to sign up. You would just come to this upper sign up now link, and then you would create your profile. And just know that if, like on the author side, the audiobooks will be published on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes. What you need to get started, this will be a good thing to review so that you know what to expect. I would assume that you would need a good microphone, something like this, like a lapel mic to get started. Oops, sorry if that made noise. And other things. Just maybe a silent room where you're uninterrupted. You know, you have certain times of the day where the weed whackers are outside making a whole bunch of noise. That happens to me. The first thing you would want to do is check out titles accepting auditions, okay? So these are all the titles that are currently wanting a narrator for you to come in and narrate their book. So there's so many cool ways to narrow down the search. If you look to the left here, there's profile filters and there's title filters. So I would first want to go to the compensation filter. And keep in mind, you might not get the highest paying job. Maybe you would get paid $50 per finished hour. So per finished hour means the hour it takes to complete an audio script. So not including mess ups, if that makes sense. So let's say we wanted to look for something that pays you 100 to 200 paid finished hour, and you want a royalty share, which means you would get that that passive income, because when the author of this book sells a book, you get a percentage of the book. So let's apply that and see what pops up. So there's still a lot of titles that match your search. So let's go to a filter that we might like. So let's say, I don't know, my voice sounds like a teenage boy. I don't know, that's really bad. But I think my voice is kind of weird. So maybe I'll just put young adult, apply, and then let's say authoritative, childlike, deadpan, enthusiastic, flirtatious. Maybe I'm flirtatious, hysterical, inspirational. So maybe I'm inspirational and I'm engaging. Let's say that. So we could apply that. And project length. Maybe I don't want to read a 10-hour book. Maybe for now, I just want to get a job under my belt to get the job and make the quick $100 or $200, however it's going to be. So let's say, maybe let's just go for 3 to 5 hours. So I think I could read for 3 to 5 hours, right? So yeah, so now we've narrowed it down to 9 books. So you could easily take off some of these filters and put them back on. But you can see all of this here is pretty cool. Oh, this one's in Spanish. Ghost Dreams, A Haunting Romance. Diseñar mi vida sin culpas. We got Spanish going on. Let's click on one of them, because the next thing that you're going to want to do is check out the video. So let's take a look at this romance one. Okay, so the estimated length is 3.9 hours. So it's probably going to take you longer than that. So that's how long it'll take to read the book, like perfectly without mistakes. And they have royalty share. This is the word count. The language is English, distribution exclusive. Right here, you could read more about the book and about the title, so you can get more of what's going on. This one's, was a haunted house, the best place to recover from a broken heart. This book seems interesting. And then you could see here, requires a narrator who could perform fiction, language, English, male or female, young adult. So yeah, this is pretty cool. And then the next thing you would do is figure out, okay, well, how do I audition? Oh, and one thing before I click on audition is the project budget. This is only royalty share. So they don't pay you to read the book up front. They just give you passive income with making royalty share. So we could take a look at what other books look like that have the paid for finish hour pricing. So with the audition, you would click here and download the script, and you can just check it out. And then you would learn more about the submission requirements right here on this book. So if I open up the script, we'll take a look at what it looks like. It's 8 pages. Yeah, that's not that bad. Chapter 1. And yeah, this is what it looks like. So chapter 2. So yeah, if we go back, we could easily pick a book where you get paid not only royalty share, but also an upfront fee. Let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so if we come back to the beginning when we started our title search with 1,814 titles that we could potentially read from, let's first narrow down by gender. I didn't do that the first time, but that would be good to do to knock off the ones that you can't read. So I'm a female. And genre, I didn't look at this either. Let's say self-development. Boring. And then let's take a look at compensations. I'm just gonna click this $100 to $200 paid for finish hour. So with ACX, you have kind of 3 options. You have royalty share, you have paid for finish hour, or you could just get paid kind of one lump sum fee. I know that doesn't make sense, but those are the 3 main options. But the most popular are paid per finish hour and also royalty share. So if we click apply and see what comes up, one matches my title. So estimated length is 3.8 hours with a project budget of 100 to 200 paid for finished hour. Okay, so if we calculate on the low side what you would get paid to read this book, it'd be about $380 if you get paid $100 an hour. And on the high side, you could expect to get paid times 3.8, $760. So how cool is that? Just for 4 hours of your time getting paid $760. That's cool. And if you do that and get the experience under your belt, that'll be better to get those deals that have both the paid per finish hour and the royalty shares. I've seen it before, but you do kind of have to look around and figure out which book gives you, I don't know, the biggest bang for your buck, the per finish hour. I just wanted to share with you guys some production earnings and costs, just so that you could understand from the author's perspective their earning potential and how you can make this passive income. So basically the author has different options when it comes to producing. They could kind of pay a giant one upfront fee and receive full royalties, or not and receive 40% royalties. So you have options to meet your budget needs and earning goals when you create your audiobook with ACX. Choose your producer, negotiate your production costs, and set your production schedule. So if you come down here, the benefits, like 40% earn earn 40% of retail for sales on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes with exclusive distributions. That's a lot of money that goes not to the author. 60%, that's a lot. But if they were to do this one, pay your producer a one-time fee for production and collect full royalties or the non-exclusive royalty, retain the right to distribute elsewhere, and earn 25% of retail sales on these 3 platforms. Okay, so let's take a look at this tab, royalty share and royalty share plus. So exclusive royalty with the narrator, which would be you split your earnings equally with your producer and you earn 20% royalties on sales of your audiobook. So therefore, the narrator would also receive that 20%. Your cost, you pay nothing out of pocket. Your producer receives payment in the form of an equal share of the proceeds from sales to the finished audiobook. And then royalty share plus is access a higher tier of producers with a one-time payment. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is this article right here. I'll link this in the description so you guys could reference it, but it's talking about ACX and becoming a narrator and the best practices of doing it. So it says use your vocal skills to record audiobooks and make money as a voice actor. And if you read through the article, the author gives a bunch of tips for becoming a really good voice narrator and making it a career. So if you scroll down, she talks about earning potential, how to become an audiobook narrator, and what you need to know before auditioning. I thought this was interesting. So before you spend months auditioning to land your first gig, we have some tips. So, she talks about, when you read a book, you're seeing and hearing things in your mind, she said. When you're narrating that book, what you're seeing and hearing in your mind, you have to then vocalize, and that is not easy. She said, at this point, whether it is or not, I am narrating it and finding the interesting bits for me and putting it into my voice. So then she talks later on about learning the proper technique, some tricks to consider. If you're new at recording, schedule sessions a few days apart to ensure you have enough energy. Try to avoid dairy before recording. That's interesting. Same goes for peanut butter, anything else that clogs up your mouth. Try to modulate your breathing so you don't end up holding your breath. So yeah, finding your niche. So yeah, this is a really great article and I will leave the link to this. And the other challenges of audiobook narration are a couple of points that she hits on, like avoid page turning noises, turn off any devices, Wi-Fi connections, and set them to airplane mode. Each ACX file needs to be a single chapter of the book. The ACX technical requirements mean you have to have a few seconds of room tone. So yeah, I don't know what that means, but this is a really great article if you're really looking into, let's say you spend 3 months being a narrator for books and, maybe you narrate 10, 11 books within that period of time. That could be a great chunk of change that you earn passively for doing it, plus the upfront paid for finished hours. So these were just a couple of things that I thought was really fun to consider. Again, I will leave this link in the description so you guys can see it, and make sure you have the best tips when you're looking to start your narrating career. Guys, I hope you're loving this video as much as I'm enjoying presenting this video. To continue the fun and to continue learning, be sure to check out the video that's coming up next, which is about 8 different websites that you could make $2,000+ per month just as a beginner. And so all you gotta do to continue watching is click right here, because this video is coming up next, right here. $100 per day. So you can have your notifications looking like this. So making $100 a day, $400, $500, really the sky's the limit. And with these 8 websites I'm going to show you today, you could be